morning, Rabbi.
It's a wonderful morning.
Ketvach, Shvatov. We are learning Mishna Nazir, Perek Beis, Chapter 2, Mishnah Beis, Mishnah 2. Now, before I read the Mishnah, because it's going to sound a little, ludicrous or silly. Here is the story. Okay, this is the background. The first case that the Mishnah is going to talk about is the following: a person's cow lies on the ground, refusing to get up. The frustrated owner tries to make it stand and talks to himself about a conversation he imagines having with the cow. You got that? See, this is why I gave the introduction, because if I would have started off right away, it would have completely thrown you off. That is the story here, okay? That's the story. Says the Mishnah. Amar, a person said. Now, don't forget, this is the background. We already have the background to what's going on. Amar, he says to himself, self, Amra Parazu, this cow is saying, Hareini Nazira, I am a Nazir, in my medas ani, if I stand up. And that's one example. Or the other example is he's got this door, right? And the door won't open; it's jammed. So again, he's having this imaginary conversation. Amar, he says, Hadelas Hazeh. Amar Hadelas Hazeh. I'm sorry. Amar Hadelas Hazeh. This door is saying, Hareini Nazir im niftachani. I'm a Nazir if it opens. If I open up. Now, what the Mishnah is missing, the second half of the conversation in this person's mind. The person says, this cow is saying, I'm hereby a Nazir if I stand up. And I'm saying I'm a Nazir if it doesn't stand up. Or he's saying, this door doesn't want to open, and the door is saying, I become a Nazir if I open. And I say that I become a Nazir if it doesn't open. So the person here is accepting the Naziris, right? But under a very interesting circumstance, right? And again, he doesn't mean literally that the door is talking or that the cow is talking, but it's a figurative way of saying it doesn't want to open, and if I don't, and if it doesn't open, I'm going to be a Nazir. Okay. Now, what's the end of the story? Right? You didn't get to the end of the story yet. The end of the story is that, guess what? Even though he worked on getting the cow to stand up and couldn't do it, all of a sudden, the cow stands up on its own. Or other people get involved and they get it to stand up. Or with the case of the door is, he's fighting with the door, fighting, can't get it open. Right? And he makes this declaration, and all of a sudden, the wind blows the door open. Or other people come by and they get the door open. So the question was, when he made the Naziris saying, right, that I will be, and they bring this down here, and I say, and the Bartanura says this, and when he says, on the contrary, the door says, I'll become a Nazir if I open. And I say I'll become a Nazir if it doesn't open, or it doesn't stand up, the cow doesn't stand up. Now the cow stood up, didn't it? Okay, so he said, I'm a Nazir if it doesn't stand up, and it did stand up. So, is he a Nazir? Is he a Nazir?
I think he's crazy. But
Besides that, is he a Nazir?
Yeah.
Says the Mishnah, it's a machlekes. By Shammai Oimrim Nazir. By Shammai say that he does become a Nazir. Wait a minute. Ubei Selo say, ain't a Nazir. He's not a Nazir. What's going on here? What's going on here is the following. And that is that Bei Shammai say, when this guy said, I am a Nazir, if it doesn't open, that meant I am a Nazir if I don't get it open. Because that's what he was trying the whole time to do. He's trying to get the door open. He's trying to get the cow up. So when he makes I'm a Nazir, if it doesn't get up or it doesn't open, means if I don't get it open or I don't get it up. Did he get it up in this case? No, he didn't. He didn't get it up. And therefore, Bei Shammai say he's a Nazir. Beis Hillel say he's not a Nazir. Because his Naziris, the condition of his Naziris was, if it doesn't open or if it doesn't get up. And it did get up. It's nothing to do with whether he went ahead and got it up or not. Now, there's something else that I think I missed out here in this case, and that is the following. Just give me a second. Right. In this case, actually, I left out something. I apologize. When this guy was making himself a Nazir, right? So he says, the door is saying I'm a Nazir if I open. And I say that I'm a Nazir if it doesn't open from the cow. If the cow doesn't get up, I'm a Nazir from the cow. If the door doesn't open, I'm a Nazir from the door. Remember last Mishnah we had a case where the guy says I'm a Nazir from figs? This is a similar case plus. There's number one, part of what he's doing here is he's talking about, becoming a Nazir based on whether the cow gets up or the door opens. And there's also, added to this is also, again, Mishnah doesn't say it, but added to this is also the fact that when he makes himself a Nazir, if it doesn't stand up, is I make a Nazir from the cow if it doesn't stand up. I make myself a Nazir from the door if it doesn't open. Okay, so we have two parts here to the argument. Number one, Beis Hillel say that when this person went ahead and the guy said, so let's back up. Actually, you have to back up. In the previous Mishnah, in the case where the person said, "I'm a Nazir from figs," Beis Shammai said, what did he mean? Beis Shammai say that a person, when he says these things, Beis Shammai said that when he says this kind of a, vow of sorts, he's not going to say something meaningless. And actually, when he said, Hareini Nazir, he meant to make himself a regular Nazir. And then he said from the figs, he meant to try to back off because no such thing as Nazir is from figs. But he tried to back off. And Beis Shammai say, once you accept it, once you make a Nazirus vow, you can't back off. And therefore, the second half of from figs is meaningless, but the first half, he made himself a Nazir. So in this case also, according to Beis Shammai, there's going to be, number one, Beis Shammai say, the fact when he made his Nazirus from the cow, from the door, then that's the same, we have to look at that as the same way as from the figs, from when he says, I'm a Nazir from the figs. The first half of what he said was, because it doesn't make sense, no such thing. So the first half of what he said was, I'm a Nazir. And then he tried to back off by saying, right, from this cow. And Beis Shammai say, you can't do that. So that's step number one. But step number two, or whichever one, just whatever steps you want to, whatever numbers you want to give to the steps, the step number two is that he made a condition here. His Nazirus was on the condition that, and when the way he said it was, the Nazirus was on the condition that the cow doesn't get up, the door doesn't open. And according to Beis Shammai, well, when he said that, when he accepted, made himself a Nazir, if the door doesn't open, which again is a Nazirus, okay, but he made it conditional if the door opens or not. Says Beis Shammai, when he says that, he doesn't mean just if it opens or the cow gets up. It means the same way he was trying to get it open and try to get it up. It has to be he who's getting it up or opening the door. That's what its condition was. That's what talking about. Yes. That's the case here in this Mishnah. And according to Beis Shammai, when the person says that I will be a Nazir if it doesn't open, means I'm a Nazir if I don't get it open. I'm a Nazir if it doesn't get up. I'm a Nazir if I don't stand it up. And Beis Hillel, when they argue here and they say the guy's not a Nazir, Beis Hillel are really arguing on 2 points. Number one, we have the previous Mishnah where Beis Hillel say, if you make a meaningless Nazirus, like I'm a Nazir from figs or I'm a Nazir from a cow, it's meaningless. It's nothing. It has no validity to it. Okay? Number two, even if we were to agree, Beis Hillel say, even if we were to agree to you, Beis Shammai, that when you say a meaningless Nazirus vow, we can interpret it like you said, that it was first a Nazirus, and then he was backing off. Even if we could do that, over here, that shouldn't help. Because over here, the condition was, if it doesn't open, if it doesn't get up. and the door did open, and the animal did get up. The fact that it wasn't you who did it, that's not part of the condition. Beis Hillel say the condition that he makes when he says, if it doesn't get up, if it doesn't open, just means as he says. If it doesn't get up, it doesn't open. Not that you have to do it. So that is how to explain the Machlekes Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai in this Mishnah. Now, Omer Rabbi Yehuda said, and this is very similar to what we had before. It's exactly what we had before. Av Kesha Amru Beis Shammai, even when Beis Shammai say here that something is that this, excuse me, that this meaningless vow is going to, that this vow from the door from the cow, when Beis Shammai say that it has validity, Lo Amru Ela Ba'omer Hare Parazai Alai Carbon Amamedasi. This is only if he says that I meant that this animal should be like a carbon to me if it doesn't stand up. I don't understand that wording. Let's give me 1 second. All right, I'm not sure how to, the wording here in the Mishnah kind of troubling to me. But the point here of Rabbi Yehuda is as was said before. Av Kasha Amru Beis Shammai, even when Beis Shammai said before, there's validity to what he did, it's not as a nazir. If a person says, I'm a nazir from figs, I'm a nazir from a door, I'm a nazir from a cow, even Beis Shammai, according to Rabbi Yehuda, even Beis Shammai agree that even Beis Shammai agree, you're not a nazir. Not a nazir. The thing is, though, that if he tells us that what he meant when he said I'm a nazir, he meant to say that I'm actually making a neder that the cow should be forbidden to me. Meaning if the cow doesn't get up, right? If the cow doesn't get up, I want it to be forbidden to me. That's what I meant. Because when you become a nazir, you're also forbidding things on yourself. So yeah, I know I used the word nazir, but what I meant was neder. I meant a regular neder. I meant the cow should be like a carbon. I meant to say that if this cow doesn't get up, then it should be usher to me. So Beis Shammai say, if he tells us that's what he meant, then it's going to work. Then it's going to work. Because Beis Shammai say, if you tell us that when you said nazir, you meant a regular neder, we accept that. Beis Hillel say, it doesn't work that way. If you're saying nazir, it's nazir. So it's not going to help you. But according to Beis Shammai say, if you tell us that you meant neder when you said nazir, that can work. And that's number one. So we have machlekes Beis Shammai Beis Hillel, whether when you say the expression I'm a nazir from figs, or that was yesterday the previous Mishnah, or I'm a nazir from the cow, can that be interpreted as a neder if you tell us that? That's one machlekes from Beis Shammai Beis Hillel. Beis Shammai say yes, Beis Hillel say no. At the same time, as they say here, Yehuda agrees that Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel also argue about the second point, namely, where the condition if the cow does not stand up was fulfilled. Meaning, again, and even if it's a neder, he made a condition. I want this cow usher to me if it doesn't stand up. Well, it stood up. The Beis Shammai say, yeah, but the condition was that he should stand it up. And since he didn't get that, the neder should take effect. And Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel say, even if we were to agree to you and to agree with you that it could be a neder, nonetheless, the condition wasn't met. You said if it doesn't stand up, and it did stand up, the condition was met, and you're not a nazir. And not only are you not a nazir, that was the first place. There's no neder, and you're allowed to have benefit from it. Have a wonderful day and a good tavach.
Thank you.